Hello and welcome to our Products of Change podcast and our bonus episode today talking about Licensing Expo. As some of you might know, over the last 5 years, the brand, licensing and retail industry has been on one of the most significant transformational journeys in its history. Once felt like a niche sustainability conversation has become central to how businesses design, source, manufacture and grow. This podcast is all about capturing that journey, especially this bonus episode, honestly, openly, and from the people who have shaped it. And we're going to get into the detail of that in a minute. But actually, we're going to be looking forward, and that's what we're going to be bringing you to Licensing Expo this year. I'm Helena. For those that don't know me, I'm the CEO here at Products Change, but I am not going to be leading this conversation today. I'm going to pass this over to our wonderful community manager, Nicola. So Nicola, over to you.
Thanks, Helena. Hi. So for anyone who doesn't know me, I'm the community manager at Products of Change, and lots of you will have spoken to me about your membership and worked with me on events. And today I'm here to really grill Helena and Andrea about Licensing Expo, the conversations that Products of Change is bringing to the show, and how to make the most of your trip to Vegas. So to kick us off, Andrea, do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Andrea Green. I live in Los Angeles and am the U.S. representative for POC, one of a few. And I've been on the journey with POC since the beginning. I wear many hats as a multi-company consultant, but POC is where my heart is. That is absolutely what makes me passionate and happy and fulfilled to work with POC on what the industry and how the industry is changing. So,
and Andrea, I'm just going to jump in here actually, because POC would not be what it is today without you. So huge thank you. And also, when we started POC 6 years ago, we didn't really do many video calls because Zoom was kind of in its Microsoft Teams didn't even exist. And Andrea actually was waking up at really silly o'clock in the morning to come and listen in via audio link to our POCs in the UK. So thank you.
You're welcome. I do laugh at the change. I mean, the pandemic was bad for many reasons, but the good reasons did sort of elevate how we can do these calls. I mean, the three of us are in 3 different places and we can do this. But yeah, that very first POC formal meeting, I was on a computer audio link and I couldn't hear half the people. And it was like 3 a.m. But look how far we have come. So very kudos to the whole team. It's quite exciting to be a part of this change in the industry.
It's amazing. And as someone who's new to the team, it's absolutely fascinating. And I love hearing about how it's evolved and where it's going next. So this is the 6th year that Products of Change has been in partnership with the Global Licensing Group and heading to Licensing Expo. So I thought it'd be really nice to hear what have been your standout moments so far. Andrea, what's been the moment that's really stood out for you?
Well, first of all, I'm super happy that we're here in the US. I love that this conversation, which may be typically more robust in the UK and Europe, is absolutely rooted on the show floor here in Vegas. So that makes me super happy that we can have this conversation with those who are here. I think highlights for me, certainly the show where we had the UN came and represented at POC along with Junk Couture and the students. They were super exciting to see and how they brought the fashion show. We had the UN-led fashion show to life. That was exciting. I also think about over the years, our roundtables where we've had a topic of conversation where our roundtables have been overflowing with conversation and viewpoints and collaboration. And I've just loved to see that, we think in the US, maybe this conversation isn't as urgent or as passionate, but that is just not true. Our industry is engaged, and when we give them the platform, which POC does in Vegas, they absolutely show up. So that's super exciting.
For me, it's really the people. So if I think of Anna, Lily, Ella, everybody really at the Global Licensing Group, part of Informa, who have made this happen for us, who have enabled the voice of sustainability and of POC to come to the show floor. When really it's a trade show, people are there to do business and we're waving a flag for sustainability and doing things differently. So the opportunities that they're giving to us with us being able to bring and showcase and highlight what our members are doing. So, come learn at what innovations are happening.
Right.
And, come to the POC booth and do that. And also just some of the conversations that we brought up onto the main stage. When we first started, we had our list of brands that we really wanted to come on this journey with us. And I'm really proud to say that, we've had the Lego Group and Disney and the NFLPA and Formula E and BBC Studios and the Natural History Museum and Moose and Universal Music Group. We've had and so many others that have been part of these amazing conversations, really showcasing their innovations and what this conversation means to them as a business. And I love being able to bring those stories to life.
That's amazing. And it really stands out to me that it's so different to other parts of the licensing industry where competitors openly share what they're doing and how they can work together and come together. And that's all down to you two and the collaboration and everything that you've built. And I think where that goes next is really exciting.
It is, and it's kind of building that infrastructure for industry, but doing it together. It's not us coming from the outside saying this is what industry needs. It's us looking at actually how do we connect the industry together and then add that infrastructure to what we already have to enable us to progress and getting all the global tour companies together, all the big brand owners together, everybody that are competitors, but because it's sustainability and it's bigger than one company, that people are coming together and really showcasing that best practice, and it's amazing.
I think when we look at sustainability, the term, it is a business term. What we bring to the table, and again, because we're from the inside of the industry, and we could have gone externally and taken this passion for Earth as a stakeholder and children as a stakeholder and everything else. But we chose to stay internal and try to fix our industry and work with our industry. But in the end, this is business accretive. This is how can we be more efficient? How can we be more streamlined? How can we, mitigate risk and taxes? Now in the US, we're finally seeing a taxation issue, which is on EPR and fines and so on. So, these are real things that are affecting the bottom line of business in the US and worldwide. We know that business it's not getting easier, right? There are more roadblocks and more things that are being thrown in from a global, regional, federal situation. So I think that we're just saying, look, if we all work together, we can do things a little bit better and we can help you to save some money and so on. So I think people think it's taken a long time, but I think our members and those who are looking at membership and looking at the community really realize that we are just here to help raise the conversation. So that's helpful.
Definitely. So you've touched a little bit on it already, but I wanted to ask how you've seen sustainability evolve in the industry since you were first exhibiting at Expo and how the conversation has grown and developed. What you think has kind of been the biggest change and the biggest shift for that?
I guess for me, when we first started, 6 years ago, sustainability as a conversation was really for the companies that could really see where industry was heading. It wasn't legislated in the way it has become over the last couple of years either. So it was just really those companies that had it as a passion that were part of the conversations, and those were interested in learning more. And actually what's happened over the last couple of years is, as legislation has changed, as consumer expectations has changed, as people are looking at ways to build efficiencies, a sustainability plan is really an efficiency plan. As people are looking to that, we're finding a lot more companies coming on this journey because it makes sense for the bottom line and for the brand and for the planet, but it's got to be all three together. So that's really the shift that I've seen. I think when we did our first POC conference 7 years ago nearly, because it was the conference that came first, most people didn't even know what the Sustainable Development Goals were. I think they had like 17% of the audience knew what they were. So if we look at what's happened over actually quite a short period of time, knowledge has massively increased over industry, which is really exciting.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I look at our industry and I think everyone who's coming to the licensing show is looking at what's happening in the future. What brands are we going to buy for the future? Nothing is for today, right? So it's all about forecasting and forward looking. And that's really what we're here to do as well, is say, look, this is something you have to look at for the future, whether it's legislative or whether it's your staff who's asking for it or whether your employees of tomorrow are asking for it. But all these things, it really fits to me very nicely into the licensing sort of paradigm because we are always looking forward. seeing what's coming. So this is just another thing to look towards.
Love that. And so thinking about looking forward then, what can visitors to the show this year expect on the POC booth? What innovations are you going to be showcasing?
We've got some great things coming to the show this year. Firstly, we've been working with the Disney team for quite a few years now, but we've not been in a position where we can showcase their innovations off the stage. And so the first time on the show floor, we're going to be showcasing the evolution that Disney have been on with their doll packaging. There's a lot more that they're doing behind the scenes, but we're going to be showcasing this doll packaging. And then we've got companies like MoverPack, who we ran a webinar on our platform yesterday, who have got a really great solution for reusable packaging. So you pay an EPR fee once, and then you don't have to pay it again because it's reusable, especially within Europe. So obviously that's going to save businesses lots of money, can connect to consumers in a super fascinating way. And when you think of us as an industry, as a brand industry that wants to drive that loyalty, having this kind of packaging can really help do that. So we've got some really fascinating stuff there. Banneco, who are out of South America, who have got banana paper. So it's basically waste from their banana production that's making this paper, and it's just fascinating. And there's loads of stuff that they're doing as well. So we're bringing their products to the booth. RDP, who are an amazing member of ours, who have been on a journey for the last couple of years to redesign all of their packaging. And actually, they've eradicated single-use packaging from out the whole of their supply chain, which is just phenomenal. We're going to be bringing some of their journey products onto the stand. BioFluff, who are a biotech company when we look at material science. So we've kind of pulled them over from the fashion industry. They've been in high-end fashion, working with companies like Stella McCartney with a fluff material that's not made from a polyester. And we're helping them scale within the toy industry. So we're going to be bringing their PLA to showcase that product into the market. Material of Rebellion, who are out of Canada, who have created this amazing technology to enable us to eradicate waste from the fashion supply chain and make new from that. Organic Sound, again, who've been partnering with Universal Music Group and Billie Eilish, again, to make new products from old. And Belena, who again have got an amazing new plastic material. And then Worldly, who are one of our big partnerships here at POC, and they're going to be coming showcasing how their technology can really help an advanced industry. And we've got a couple of working groups within POC that's helping support that work. And then on top of that, we're going to be bringing our toy edits, our toy chapter, which is our latest piece of editorial, which is a big review of the toy industry and the journey that we need to be taking on the toy industry to reduce our environmental impact. So there's a lot already, and then we're going to have a session on the stage where we're talking to Disney and Universal Music Group and Nobody's Child and Fabicas about the future of how we need to be operating as an industry and what they're already doing. So I think we're going to have a jam-packed show already.
Oh my God. It sounds so exciting. I can't wait.
Brilliant. It's going to be good. And I will say now as well, anyone that wants to visit the booth, it's 0235, and we'll pop it in the show notes as well, so you can come and find us or make an appointment to come and see us.
And the booth, can I just say, the booth is open. So please, anyone who, if you're nervous or you don't, want to commit, just come by, walk through the booth, take a look, see what resonates. We would love to have you. Just come on by.
Definitely. So there's just a couple more questions, and I wanted to touch on that last week for Earth Day, we launched our Partner Maturity Index. So I really wanted to ask both of you why you feel that now's the right time, why this is the missing link for the industry and what it's going to do and how it's going to help everybody achieve their collective goals.
Well,
Andrea, I don't know if you want to start.
I'll just start, and then Helena can jump in with where sort of we've been on this journey. But we started this quite a few years ago, where we worked with licensors to send out a questionnaire to their licensees, but it was very much in a direct communication between licensor to licensee, and sort of a one-way or two-way between them, but it wasn't sort of an ecosystem. And now we have taken that and we have really advanced the whole program so that once a licensee answers it, you can tick off all the boxes of your licensors. And so you answer it once and it goes to everybody. But it is a way to sort of gauge where you are on your journey, and it helps the licensor to make decisions and helps the licensee to be able to see where they are. Where do they need to start making inroads, and where do they need help, and so on. So I think we're very, very excited for this new iteration, and it feels like such an advancement in where we started. But the tool is a wonderful tool to use. So Helena, you might share a little bit more about what you want to share, but I think this is a game changer for the industry.
Oh, totally. And I'm so excited by this. And it's been a huge amount of work, and the kids industries team as well have helped us build the whole scoring mechanism in the background. And as Andrea said, it's been a labour of love for many, many years. And what we really want the maturity index to do is kind of deliver on two things. And so within our industry, we do tend to have a lot of brand owners requesting information from the licensees, having to do it one-on-one with each brand owner. So, you think a lot of licensed manufacturers might have 200 brands that they work with. So therefore, that's a lot of filling in of documents. But actually, a lot of the time, that documentation is quite similar questions. So what we wanted to do is try and take the burden from the licensee, so they only fill something out once, like Andrea says, and then you tick the box, and then the brand owner gets to see their dashboard. We wanted a brand owner to have visibility of the maturity of their partners, so we can kind of start to have a little look at, well, what else does the industry need us to help deliver to enable us to move forward. But actually more so, we built a partnership framework. For anybody that's watching a video, it's here. You can download it free from the website. And so the partnership framework is basically a free sustainability plan on what impact elements that you need to start to track to reduce and to enable you to reduce your company's environmental impact. What the maturity does is aligns with that partnership framework. So as a licensee ticks what they're doing, it will then enable them to say, okay, well, our maturity score is this in this impact area. Let's go back to the partnership framework and let's have a look at what we might need to be doing next. So it's meant to be a practical tool to enable a licensed manufacturer to move forward in their journey as well. We also know that there's lots of different types of data that are going to have to be collected at some point in the future, maybe carbon data. And so this doesn't collect like bill of material or impact data, because we're a big believer that the systems that are already operating within our industry that collect approval data or information about the products, that kind of data should come through that system. What we're looking to do here is take away this other burden and simplify it for everybody. Help the brand owner so they can track their licensee's progress, help the licensee with giving them a score, and then practical steps on what they can do to mitigate it. We've had about just under 500 companies so far have started filling in. We've got about 30 complete, so thank you for all those that are doing it. But any licensed manufacturer out there, you don't have to pay to fill this in. You can go onto the POC website, look in resources. Under resources, there's a tab that says maturity index. You can click on that and it takes you to the questionnaire. So anybody can fill that in for free. And all of that data will be sent through to your brand owners that you work with. There is no upsell. You don't need to do anything. You can come be part of that for your brand owners. For the brand owners that are part of our POC community, they then get the dashboard as part of their membership, and then they can see what their licensed manufacturers are doing. And it also works for retailers as well. A lot of the licensees work with retailers, so retailers can also use this as a brand owner. So the hope is it's going to give us a baseline for the industry, because without a baseline, you can't track your progress. So hopefully it will give us this baseline for the industry, and then we can really start to track that progress over the years and really show the great work that the industry is doing. So if anybody's out there and they haven't filled it in, please go and do it, because it's going to benefit everybody.
Definitely. We can put the link in the show notes as well to make it really easy for you to find.
Yeah. So much easier than the first iteration, which was me emailing each licensee and getting the information back and tallying and sharing individually. This has just taken away all the manual pieces. So licensees who filled it out, this is just so much easier. Go back and look at V2. It's great.
Exactly. And then over time, it will be refined. And even when we look at what's happening with legislation, there is biodiversity legislation that's coming. There's microfiber legislation that's coming. There's water. All these impact areas that are part of a sustainability plan will start to roll out when it comes to legislation. But we're not 100% there yet. So we've started with what we need, with the hope that we can then add these things. Again, as we mature as an industry, we can add.
It's amazing. I'm really looking forward to seeing what comes out of it and where it goes, because I just think it's absolutely astounding. And the more I learn about the work that's gone into it, the more I think it's just going to be so fantastic for everybody.
It has been a labour of love. And a lot of maths in the background. I mean, Helena, she's a mathematic genius. I mean, we built the whole thing by sticky notes. We put all the flow on sticky notes, all different coloured sticky notes, to see how the questions flowed with each other. I mean, it's been a long journey, but I think.
But Helena, hats off to Helena.
Her and Gary and that whole team there. The plan is that we will have 4 waves throughout the year where you can go and update your data, or a brand owner can have a look at that updated data. And this year we'll do 2 waves, because obviously we haven't launched in January. So we're hoping that we can give an early indication around about July of where we are as an industry. Then we'll open up again and we'll close it in September. And then by the time we get to brand licensing and then our POC conference on the 11th of November, we'll be able to showcase. We're hoping for about 1,000 partners to be in by then. Let's see if we can get more.
I think we can. I'm sure we can. So away from something quite serious and more thinking about how everyone can have a great time and lots of fun at Expo, aside from the show floor, what are your top tips for anyone that's perhaps visiting for the first time and doesn't know what else goes on away from visiting booths on the show floor? Andrea, as the American, I'll come to you first. What do you think?
Well, so I'm not really a Vegas person, as from a standpoint of I think if you're naturally outgoing and social, and there are a million things, and there's from eye candy to Border Grill and all these places you can sort of swing through. But I think there's so many events going on, like the opening night party with the Temptations, which I'm sure 90% of the people who are going to watch this or don't have any idea who the Temptations are, but I am super excited. So that should be fun. But the awards ceremony, there are so many events going on that I'd say if you're new to the show, try to go to those events. Women in Toys has a breakfast. There are lots of things. So try to attend if you can. Also, talk to people. Not everyone, again, this is such a wonderful coming together of all different kinds of people and licensees and licensors. But for instance, all of us at POC, we're so friendly. Come by our booth and ask questions. If you haven't met anyone yet, or you don't know who to talk to or what to do, come see us. We'll tell you. We've done this forever, and we want people to have the best time they can have. Shout out to not going to be happening while we are in Vegas, but Postcards from Earth at the Sphere would be something I think everyone should catch if they're Earth focused. I think it'd be fascinating, but lots of fun things. So I don't know. I think you can make Vegas, you can sort of make this show what you want. So,
totally agree with you. I mean, you're in Vegas, you've got to go and see a show while you're in Vegas, just because the operations of, the shows that you go and see there are, second to none. That's amazing. And then quite a lot of the agencies that we work with, so Wildbrain CPRG, do a really great party where a lot of licensees and brand owners go to that they work with. And like Andrea said, you've got the opening night party. Licensing Internationals have their awards on the night before. And we're very lucky that POC helps to judge the Sustainability Award, though we don't know who's won, but we give our scoring in the background. And like Andrea said, go and do the breakfasts, go and do all your selfies on the booths. All these amazing global brands have all these opportunities for you to go and snap your picture with all their iconic brands. To go and do that. And then ask the brands and partners that you work with. There's always a UK gathering somewhere on the Wednesday night. Universal Music Group, Bravado always do something. The Disney team will have, I think they've got a whole day of in and out seminars. Monday is always packed with all of the showcases. And so, bring your flat shoes. I would not wear heels.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Bring lots of water. It costs a fortune.
Shoes
if you can,
first.
If you like a cup of tea, like I do, bring your own tea bags, because tea is so expensive. It's like $15 for a cup of tea. It's ridiculous. It's so expensive. And so where you can, bring your own snacks. I think Andrea lives off white chocolate.
Reminder for me to pack the electric kettle.
Yes, please.
Yes, that's coming to the booth.
American hotels don't have kettles, they just have coffee machines. So if you're a tea drinker, you've got to be able to have a cup of tea.
Come by the POC booth. We'll have tea bags and a kettle if you're desperate. I would say shoes first. That is absolutely the most important thing, because your feet will...
Eye drops, because of all the air conditioning. Oh my gosh.
Hand cream, all
the desert
things.
And the air conditioning just sucks any moisture from you.
That's the truth. But it's going to be fun. We're going to have a great few days in Vegas.
We will.
It's going to be super good.
It's going to be brilliant. And I think everything you're showcasing is going to be really good. It'll be fantastic. Thank you for both sharing it. And as you were just talking about tea, it feels very apt that the three of us are all sitting here with our cups of tea and our POC mugs, that if you're watching on camera, you'll see. So you can come and have a look at a POC mug on the booth as well, and scan the digital product passport that's in the bottom of it as well.
Yes. Yeah. And if you please DM us on LinkedIn, and come by the booth. And thank you very much.
Yes, we can't wait to see you. Thank you.
Looking forward
to it. Safe travels in, everyone.
Yeah.
We'll see you all in Vegas. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.